Spotless Podcast, where cleanliness is always next to podliness. Now, here are your hosts, Hannah Brooks Olson and Andrew Walsh.
Hannah, I have heard a nasty little rumor that you, my friend, have a dirty dog.
It's not a rumor if it's true.
Oh, yeah, I should mention, I heard the rumor from you.
Yeah, that makes sense. That sounds like something I'd start.
I heard you talking to the dog as we were getting ready to record, and I think the quote was something along the lines of, "Lola, you dirty dog, what did you get on the bed that I just cleaned?" What's going on over there?
She's just, you think you get a girl dog and she's going to be a lady. She's going to be a gentle lady.
A princess.
No, this is the grimiest dog. She, literally loves to roll in dirt. Rolling in dirt is one of her favorite things.
I'm so glad Lucy does not have that trait. When you talk about Lola rolling in dirt, the other day I was watching Lucy and I was like, oh, that could have been a thing I'm dealing with.
Yeah. Yep. She loves to roll in dirt and grass. And I've had other dogs who like to roll in stuff because it's like extra stinky. Like my little dog, the only time he would ever roll was if there was literally like a dead thing in the grass.
Oh.
And he wanted to get the stink on him, which a lot of dogs do like to do. But no, Lola she just loves the sensation of rolling around in grass, dirt, whatever. But our current issue that we're having with her, well, it's not really an issue, but it's what she was doing, is she gets tree sap in her paws a lot.
Oh, shoot.
And it's hard to get out. We do have a tip for getting tree sap out of things from listener page from this show, which is use hand sanitizer, like alcohol-based hand sanitizer, because it breaks up the sap really well. And it does do that. But I have to be able to get to it first. And like a lot of dogs, Lola doesn't love to have her paws manipulated and examined in that manner. And so she'll just lick her paws, which is not great for her or for them. And then I'll look over and I'm like, oh my God, you have to stop. Like, I will get the sap out, and then she won't let me. And then we're just in it. And then like dirt sticks to the sap, and then it's just a cycle.
Tell me more about dogs not licking their paws. It's bad for them?
Well, it's not bad for them. So one, they can lick too much. If they lick the same spot, they can give themselves a hot spot, which is like a little irritated area.
Oh.
And especially with their paws, a lot of times too, paw licking is a sign of something else. Like dogs with allergies will lick their paws a lot because they're itchy. And also like if they walk in something weird, like you don't necessarily want them like just gobbling up whatever street nast they have on their paws.
Mm-hmm.
And also it's annoying.
Yeah, and it's annoying. You know, Hannah, I have a tradition on this show, which is as we dial up, I say, we can get right into the topic today because I don't really have much to talk about from my experience over the past 2 weeks since we last recorded. And then within, 30 seconds of the show, you say something, and I remember some cleaning project that I did, and it's the perfect thing for the show, I think. I want to tell you really briefly, if I may. I've never done anything briefly. I'm going to try to be brief about this, but I have... the story begins with I have a new tool that just arrived.
Okay, we love a new tool.
Moments before we started recording, and it is a chainsaw on a pole. And it's not a weapon. I know that's what you're thinking. It's for cutting back my massive shrubbery or hedgery in the back of my house. I have this giant hedge. As I think I'm sure I've talked about it on this show. I know I've blabbed about it on every other platform. I have these very tall, thick hedges that go all the way around our house. Arborvitae on the one side that separates us from our neighbors, but three sides of the house, big hedges. Most of them I can handle with a hedge trimmer on a pole trimmer, and just sort of maintain it every year. Like it grows so quickly in the spring, and then you cut it all back so it looks boxy, right? And the one in the back of the house, though, which is not the longest stretch of hedges, it's big enough, but it's kind of separates us from the alleyway behind our house. It is so overgrown and has been overgrown in the past that when I trim it back as much as the hedge trimmers can, it's still just way too massive. And when I say massive, I mean it's like too wide across. I have to take the ladder, trim it from one side across the top, take the ladder into the alleyway, which is just like totally bombed out. There's not a good place to put a ladder back there, and try to swing my arm across with this thing on the pole and try to trim the top of it. But it's so wide at this point, you can barely kind of reach it from both sides, right? These things, I have a photo I can send you.
This feels very dangerous.
Oh, it's incredibly dangerous, especially trying to do it on the ladder that is like kind of like in a pothole.
Like in a pothole, yeah, that's exactly what I was envisioning.
Bad. It's so bad. And the people in the apartments behind me are probably just watching me like a madman doing it. So what the solution is I need to make them narrower, right? I need to really trim them back, but it gets so thick, and I'm trying to remember what kind of hedge this is. I can never... Laurel.
It's probably a laurel or a juniper.
Yeah.
I feel like...
I'm pretty sure it's laurel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I kind of didn't realize before we moved here, I didn't know laurel. I didn't know a laurel from a juniper. If you just totally let these things go, they're just trees. It's like we cut them back to make them look like hedges, right?
Yes.
So I just got a photo from a listener who showed me what hers looks like in her backyard, and she's like kind of an arborist, and she's like, this is what it looks like when you're not turning it into a hedge. It's just a giant, beautiful tree, which is cool too. But all of that is to say, the hedge trimmers can only cut it back so far because it's becoming a tree in there. Like it's really, really thick wood, right? And so a couple of years ago, I borrowed my friend's pole saw, which is a chainsaw on a pole, to cut back the side that faces the alleyway.
Yeah.
And I was really appreciative, but I had not really used a chainsaw much in my life, and so I don't think I had one. I never really maintained one. And a year later, I asked him, hey, can I borrow your pole saw again to do the other side of the hedges? And he said, hell no. You returned my saw with tons of sap and stuff all over. It was a disgrace. I don't think he said a disgrace, but that was the tone of his voice.
No.
And now this really hit me on a couple of levels because, number one, that is the antithesis of who I think of myself as. Like, if anything, I would like to return something better. If I borrow your car, there's going to be more gas in it than when you got it. You know what I mean? Like, that's just really important to me. Tools, especially, that was something that my dad really instilled in me because I'd be working in his shop. And, like, if I took a tool from some guy's workbench, and didn't return it, like, he was like, there would be hell to pay if anybody goes to grab a tool and it's not there. So this is stuff. But I was also a little bit miffed at my friend because I was like, well, you didn't tell me how to clean a chain or that I would need to clean it. It didn't even occur to me. You know what I mean? He gave me some oil, said put some oil in the little reservoir or whatever. And it kind of bummed me out that it was like a year later and I found out that he was sort of like holding this grudge. I kind of wish he had been like in the moment, been like, or, maybe he said, hey, man, this thing is kind of in bad shape. Can I show you how to clean it? I don't know how I would have handled it if I were him, but
finding out a year later that it's just been like clanging around in his head is a terrible feeling.
Or maybe it wasn't front of mind for him and it just came out in this way. And I'm a very, very sensitive boy, as you know. But I'm a sensitive boy, and this is just one of the things that just really cuts at my identity, sort of. And so I felt really bad about it.
Yes.
So all of that is to say, I now really need to cut these things back. And I'm not going to borrow my friend's chainsaw because, number one, he won't let me. And secondly, I'm never borrowing anything again. It was my worst nightmare to get that feedback. And I feel so embarrassed about it. So I was like, I'm going to buy a new pole saw. And I was very excited. I found this pole saw that actually will use the same kind of battery as my lawnmower. So now I have like 2 batteries and they can swap in and out. And I can always have one in the rotation. It's just going to be great. And it arrived literally like 5 minutes before we started recording. And so that's in the garage now. I'm very excited about it. I don't think I'm going to be able to use it this weekend, but I'm very, very excited to use it. But the reason I bring this up in the cleaning conversation is, even though I still feel very bad and chagrined about the way I returned my friend's chainsaw, it did teach me something, which is like, oh, I guess I got to maintain this thing. Like, unfortunately, I learned it the wrong way, which is I didn't do it for my friends. But now that I have one, I was like, well, what do I need to do? Like, how will I clean this thing after using it? And then so I was reading a little bit about that, how you get like kind of machine oil, right? And like kind of lubricate it and do various things. And they say, kind of clean it with a dry cloth afterwards and various things you can do. And so I plan on doing that after I use mine, and I plan on, that sounds like a fun aspect of it, actually, to me. But then I started thinking, wait a second, what about the trimmers that we've been using for about 3 years now that we bought new? That's cutting through these just huge shrubs. I do this job once a summer. I've never cleaned that thing. Am I like taking the life out of my hedge trimmers because I've never sat down? And so I sat down to actually look at them for a change. And keep in mind, this job is a difficult job. So when you're done for the day, you're like done for the day. I mean, you have to bag everything up. You're just like really exhausted. But you're supposed to, like, when you're done using them, clean them off a little bit and then lubricate it again, right? Just using machine oil and stuff. And I've never done that. So I'm like kind of watching some videos about it. It's very basic. But then I sit down, was it last Saturday or 2 Saturdays ago, with like, I set the thing on a bunch of cardboard and I was outside and I was like, oh my God, this thing is covered in tree sap, from cutting through this. It's just black. Mm-hmm. It's just black. And I'm like, this is not good. If I want to maintain this thing for the long haul, which I'm going to need, then I need to start taking care of this thing. So I went to Home Depot, I think, classic like 2-tripper, I got one thing, needed something else, went back, but I got some spray lubricant and I started going to town on it. But the spray lubricant obviously didn't take off the tree sap, so then I started using some WD-40. That kind of worked a little bit, but then I went to not Goo Gone, but are you familiar with Goof Off?
Yes.
It's like a stronger version of it. It's in that little metal tin. It seems kind of old-fashioned, sort of, you pour. And so I was just outside literally with an old toothbrush, Goof Off, WD-40, and some machine oil, and listening to the Mariners game. I think they lost. And I'm just like cleaning 3 years of sap off of this thing. And it was such a hot day, by the way. I took the sheath off of it. It's got this plastic black sheath that's made of very thin plastic.
What an old man afternoon you had. This is the most retired thing.
My sheath doesn't fit on there anymore. It was such a hot day that the sheath melted.
It warped. Oh, my God.
It warped in the sun. But, yeah, I just cleaned the hell out of that thing, got it as oiled as I could, and then resheathed it the best I could, and now it's ready for its next close-up, Mr. DeVille. So anyway, that was a hell of a cleaning adventure for me.
Oh my goodness. And again, a real travel back in time.
Oh,
there
absolutely.
With your Mariners on the radio and your WD-40 and the entire place just smelling like an old man's garage.
And literally listening to it on an old AM radio that only plays AM, by the way. It's like on an old vintage radio that I took out from the kitchen and set on the porch next to me. So, yeah. Anyway, very satisfying as well. And I'm looking forward to both using and caring for my pole saw. The fact that I'm doing this with you right now instead of just out there just digging into those hedges is a miracle.
I know. And when you get very excited about a project, I feel like it's very hard to do anything else. I have a sewing project that I'm very interested in getting started, and I just have not had the time. And I just am like, one of these days I'm going to be able to get down there and just get into it, but I cannot.
I don't think I knew you played in that space, the sewing space.
I have on and off. I mean, I took sewing in high school. When I dropped out of AP French. Then I took sewing. And I used to make a non-zero number of my clothes. And then I just didn't really have space for it. It is a very space-consuming... Like, I haven't had a designated sewing space in my entire adult life. Like, it just is not a thing I've ever had, the table for and, like, the place to put. So I have a sewing machine. It sort of, sits on a shelf, and then I've taken it down when I need it. But... I just set up like a card table in our basement so that I actually have the space to do it.
Nice.
Because I have to be in the office more in the next, we're doing sort of an RTO thing. And 2 days a week I'm going to have to be in the office. And I don't like a lot of the clothing that is considered to be like office attire. I find it... I like my clothing to be quite simple. And so I am going to be making myself a few garments to wear to work.
Like shirts, like tops?
Yeah, like linen tops, because I just can't find like simple ones that aren't grossly overpriced.
That's really cool. I also understand, if I'm reading my notes here correctly, that you have something going on with your crow friends in your yard.
So I love my crows. We've talked about this a lot, but they have created a cleaning mess that I'm upset about. So as you mentioned, it was very hot recently. So I put out a water dish for the crows because, like, you know when it gets really hot and they walk around with their beaks open?
Yes,
Like,
it's scary.
it is.
Sad story. I saw one doing that one time, and then came home later, and it did not make it. And, yes, and it was incredibly sad. And as I had to remove him from our it was kind of our roof deck at the time. It was just really more of a roof that we hung out on. It made me so sad because I had to remove the deceased, and I could hear one of its family members just freaking the hell out as I did that, and it was very heart-wrenching.
It's awful. I'm always so worried for my crows, and I have a bonded pair that hangs out like in my yard. They're my pair of crows, and I think they just had a fledgling for the year because there's been a third little scraggly crow hanging around, so I think it's theirs. But so I put some water out for them, but of course crows don't just enjoy the water and use the water. They utilize the water dish to make the most repugnant stew.
Wretched stew.
It is so gross. And it has left the dish that I put out for them with the stickiest, most fetid residue that I cannot get off. Like I'm very
sticky.
close.
That's interesting.
It's sticky. And it is it's so gross. And I tried dish soap. I tried a few other things. I'm this close to going for the goof off. Like that's the next step.
Really?
Yeah.
Dish soap didn't even cut it. So Genevieve has a bird bath in our front yard. And so, we have this conversation a lot. This speaks mountains of truth to us because she kind of gets mad at the crows. I mean, the bird bath is there for all the birds. Genevieve likes all the birds. She likes crows, but she gets so mad at the crows because, first of all, she's now leaving little trinkets out for the crows and trying to trade with them because they bring us little gifts. But some of the quote-unquote gifts they bring us are absolutely wretched, right?
Yes.
They're carcasses and sometimes
Bones.
big fish. One time, like a fish skeleton, like almost out of a cartoon that you could
Like a Heathcliff skeleton.
you could play xylophone on it or whatever. Like so gross. And but the thing they do, and I saw, that's right, it came up I think literally yesterday because I saw a crow fly down with a big cracker in its mouth or a piece of bread or something, and what it does is it uses the water to soften it, right? And sometimes what it does, it'll deposit it and let it soften for a while, then come back to maybe eat it or forget about it. And Genevieve was so mad, she's like, I'm like, well, you put the bird bath out there. It's for them to use. And she's like, yeah, but not like, jus. And I was like, okay, fair enough. And that's basically what they're doing.
That is exactly what it is.
They're French dipping their way through life, and they're using Genevieve's bird bath and making it disgusting.
Crow Jew.
Yeah, crow Jew. Exactly. So
it's
I know that, but we haven't had sticky.
gross.
Ours, I think, when you dump it out, if you were to touch it, which I don't recommend, it's more slime. So I'm kind of surprised that yours is sticky. Oh, and by the way, you said a dish. You're setting this out. This is more of a temp. We have like a big bird bath thing, right? What are you setting out?
It's like a dog water dish that we just have like an extra of, and I set that one out because it's really heavy and it's very clearly like a dog water dish. I lost at least one bowl at one point because I had water in it, and then someone I think just thought it was a free bowl, and then it was gone. A dog water dish, in the front yard is like pretty normal. It's a normal thing.
Yeah. I see.
And
so somebody, a human being. I thought you were going to say a crow stole it because crows will steal things too. But
crows
do you
will
think a
steal
human
things.
Was just like, that's a nice bowl on the ground, I'm going to add it to my collection?
Yes, I do believe that is what happened at one point with one of my bowls. So this one's a dog dish, so it's very clearly like this is a water dish for dogs and other critters. But the crows use it, and they make this. They put little whatever scraps they pick up, but that includes small animal carcasses.
Yep.
And I think what happened the first time is that all the water evaporated because it got so hot that all the remnants just became this film. And it is just the grossest thing. But I put dish soap in it, and I let it sit for a while, and that didn't work. So I really think I'm gonna have to either use either I'm going to use something like a solvent, like a citrus solve or a simple green or something like that.
Yeah.
And then if that doesn't work, I haven't utilized something like a fat, like a coconut oil or something to see if that would free it up because I don't really want to waste the oil on it. Although I suppose I have probably maybe some vegetable shortening I could try to loosen it up. Just something to break down what's in there. But I'd never had this experience before with the crows making such an unholy concoction. But it is, and they do, my crows are the same. They don't really bring me things that I want. But they do often leave like chicken bones, which is what I aggressively do not want around my dog.
Yeah.
The crows and I are not on the same page right now.
No, let me ask you a question. I'm trying to think about how to ask this without sounding flippant, but why does this bowl need to be clean? Can't this just be dedicated crow bowl, and dedicated crow bowl has a film in it, and if you ever need another dog bowl, get one at Goodwill or something?
This is a very good question. And the only reason I'm worried about the cleanliness of this bowl is, well, two things. One, because I think dogs might also need it when it's warm outside. Sometimes
it's on the ground.
It's on the ground. It's for anything that needs water at ground level, including also like bees and, whatever, pollinators.
Beads?
Biz. Just my gentleman bee farmer. My apiary I'm opening. But then the other thing is I'm worried that the neighbors will think I'm a gross person. That's my other issue.
It's visible, huh?
Yes. It's in the front yard because that's where the
No,
crows
I mean
hang out.
the stickiness is visible.
Oh, yes. It looks
Oh, okay.
unfortunate.
Okay, I see. I thought that the stickiness was just like, well, when you touch it, it's gross. But if you flush it out and get rid of all the gross stuff in there and refill it with fresh water, no. Okay,
It
so
is
it's black,
it's just
brownish,
brown and grimy, and there's like bits, and it just is. It's created. It's gross.
Huh.
Yeah.
I also wonder, would there be? You mentioned like kind of using like an oil or something, right? Mm-hmm. And again, I'm not trying to spend your money for you, but I do know that like we were going through a lot of dog dishes at first with our puppy Lucy because I don't know, maybe she outgrew one. I know she broke one, like just knocked it off the porch because I'm learning that dogs love to. I'm hoping that this is maybe more of a puppy thing, but sometimes they think that their water dish is a toy. They see their reflection in it and they start going crazy. So she's broken some by knocking him off the porch or whatever.
No, that might just be a Lucy thing.
Might be what happens is she sees either her reflection or a little. Her snout is dirty.
Yep.
Because she's been like snuffling around the yard. Then she's thirsty. She sticks her nose in her clean water. She has a dedicated outdoor, pretty heavy ceramic water bowl. She sticks her nose in there to drink. Whatever's on her nose gets in the water. She picks her head up and cocks her head, and she's like, "What's in my water?" Yep. Then she starts using her paw to get it out of the water. Then she starts like trying to swim in the bowl.
Have you taken her? I know she's pretty little, so you probably haven't taken her to like Magnus in her yet. She might also just be a water dog.
Yeah,
and
I think she is.
Some dogs just play in their water dish. Some dogs just they see a little amount of water and they're like, hell yeah, game on. They're the same ones who like will try and bite at the hose. Like they like to play.
She loves dripping water. Like she prefers water dripping. She does have her paws are a little bit webbed or whatever, like a lab, even though she's got very little lab in her, like 4% or something, according to the studies, according to the DNA test. But we haven't taken her. We are going to take her to Magnuson, and we've been talking about some other places too, because Genevieve wants to take her on this lake weekend, but we need to see how she is around lakes first. So anyway, I do think that she is sort of a water dog. So all of that is to say, and again, I'm not trying to sound flippant about this kind of stuff or that we should treat everything as disposable, but like Genevieve has just been going to Goodwill and bringing back big, heavy dog bowls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering, like, if you started fresh, like, what if you just said, like, okay, this wretched stew is done. This bowl is done. You get yourself a fresh bowl, and I don't even know if this would work or not. Would there be something that you could put a film of maybe coconut oil or something so that it wouldn't get sticky? If you started fresh, put a film or something in there, then fill it up with water?
I mean, I think then you just have oily water.
Yeah, that's true. Though you just have like oil probably.
Yeah.
On top. That's a dumb. Yeah, that's a
I
dumb
mean,
idea.
no, it's not.
No, you're right. I'm an idiot.
Well, no. So the problem is too is that the dish, this one that's out there, is a stainless steel, so it should be.
Oh, yeah,
it already
good.
should be sort of. It should have that thing that you're saying.
Yeah.
And it's really a measure of just how repugnant the crows are. I think.
Ugh,
and,
that's really gross. Yeah,
it's very gross.
But you guys are friends. You're gonna work it out.
We will work through this. The crows and I know they've been extra demanding because, again, they have a fledgling. So they have had, they've had some needs. We also have, I mentioned, and it happened on the show, the blue jays pecking at the windows.
Oh, yeah.
So it's stopped now, I think, because, I don't know, they're out of that season. We thought it was the baby blue jays that they were just like trying to figure out the world. But then we saw the baby blue jays because we had like a crop of baby blue jays that were born in our yard. And they're still little fuzzy. They look like little Jim Henson finger puppets.
Oh.
And so I think it was just that like the mom blue jays were so like... I think they had mom brain or something. But they woke us up one morning. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning.
Really?
And we just hear this like bong, 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 bong. And it's our friggin' bathroom window. And it's a blue jay just clacking away at it. This is never behavior we've experienced before. It's very strange. So if we have bird people
it's still ongoing.
So it's stopped now, I think, because the fledglings are old enough that the mom has recovered her sense. And it's not...
Sure.
And one of the rumors I saw was that, or like one of the possibilities was the fact that like windows with screens on them will sometimes have bugs, and so the blue jays will come and try and like get the bugs off the screen. One is that sometimes they will try and like fight their reflection. But like the mom was just ultra protective during those couple weeks. But it's the birds in my neighborhood. This fledgling season has been a lot.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but I hope everything works out. Boy, really UV birds these days.
I always thought they were on my side. And then recently we've just been having some grade A USDA beef around here.
All right, listen, before we get into this very long, detailed, bullet-pointed, beautiful email that we got from a listener all about packing and traveling, which is sort of revisiting a topic that we talked about on the show somewhat recently, I had one more very specific cleaning thing on the list today, and this is a TikTok video that you sent me a few weeks ago. What can you tell us about this video?
So I was doing my little night scroll, my little bedtime procrastination nighttime scroll, and I came across a video of this lady who... It was like a stitch on TikTok. So when people have a video and then somebody else uses that video to make their own video, it's a stitch. And a lot of people will tell you in the first frame, like as you're scrolling, to stop you from scrolling, like this is going to be a stitch, just so you know.
Like I'm going to pause it and interject a lot.
Yes, like that. What you're seeing on your feed, a lot of people will be like, your algorithm is fine. This isn't getting served to you organically. What you got this for is my feedback, right? I see. So it started with a lady saying she was making like a year's worth of like quote unquote clean, non-toxic laundry mix. And this is when I realized that there are a lot of people out there who make their own, again, in quotes, laundry detergent. It's not detergent because of all the things they do, because they don't want to buy the commercial stuff and because the commercial stuff is very expensive. But then what they end up doing is they make these massive totes of basically like random assorted cleaning products that they've heard of and in all the wrong amounts. And so, they'll be like a whole container of OxyClean and a whole container of like washing soda, but then the measurements are all wrong. So when you take a scoop of it for your laundry, you're actually only getting like a little bit of OxyClean because, surprise, surprise, the containers of all of these products are not sold in perfect amounts to go with one another and make a balanced and functional product, right? So the woman who's stitching it is this woman named Melissa Pateras. I think I'm saying that right. She So I watched this one video from her, and then I was awake for another 2 hours watching her videos because she is 100% a kindred soul to this podcast.
Yeah, I was looking her up before the show. She's written a book about this, too. I think basically she got... I think it might even say it in her bio here that goes along with the publicity for her book. The book is called A Dirty Guide to a Clean Home, Housekeeping Hacks You Can't Live Without. Oh, that's right, because she does a lot of kind of double entendre stuff too, right? Her pinned video, her most viewed video is her talk about caulk, like a caulk gun and how to caulk. But of course, it's just filled with double entendres because it sounds like a naughty word. Yep. And it says in her bio here that Melissa Pateras is the most competent housekeeper, DIY project master, and home repair genius that you've ever fantasized about becoming. When she followed her kids on TikTok, she discovered a community hungry for her approachable, tongue-in-cheek advice on everything from balls, dryer balls, that is, to why color-coded closets are a spiritual experience. She doesn't expect you to know what you were never taught, and she doesn't care about transforming your home into a minimal beige Instagram post. She simply wants to help make your life easier. And that's kind of our vibe. Yeah. I like that a lot. So I want to play this video, the one that I think started it all for you, or at least the one that you sent me. Mm-hmm. And so listeners, I think will be able to tell the original from the stitch because of the different sound quality, but you'll hear at first the voice of the woman who's making this, which I believe she calls it a detergent. It's called DIY non-toxic laundry detergent, no borax, which already, I mean, ew, come on now. That goes right at you. Okay, let's see if we can take a listen to this.
It is time to refill my non-toxic laundry detergent.
Oops, sorry.
Spoiler alert.
Okay, I'm going to have to start that over. My apologies. TikTok's a little bit weird about this stuff.
It is time to refill my non-toxic laundry detergent. Spoiler alert. It's not detergent.
Now, I know I said I was giving up, but these weird videos keep pulling me back in.
I'm going to start with a cup of Epsom salts. Epsom salts really help break down hard water, and that is really just going to help boost the cleaning power of this laundry detergent.
Epsom salt adds magnesium, the opposite of helpful in hard water, but boost the cleaning power of this detergent? You're not making detergent.
I'm going to use 3.5 cups of baking soda, which is a natural odor neutralizer. Helps break down dirt, oil. Some of you are going to say, you're not really non-toxic if you're using Arm & Hammer. There's aluminum in there.
I don't like that voice you're doing, but also, who is saying that? Because there isn't aluminum in baking soda, and there never has been. I think they are talking about baking powder and sodium aluminum sulfate, but baking soda is a good odor neutralizer, that's true, but it doesn't help break down dirt and oil. And even if it did, it'll just redeposit on the laundry because you don't have a surfactant to tie it up and carry it away.
Okay, pause real quick.
Surfactants.
Yes, please.
So this is what I loved
You're
about her.
You're stitching the stitch.
Yes, I'm stitching the stitch. Double stitch. This is what I loved about her immediately is she gets into the science of what a surfactant does, why certain things help with stains, why these DIY laundry concoctions that people make don't actually do what you think they're doing because most people don't understand the chemistry. So what they do is they make this mixture. They probably haven't really experimented with the balances very much, but they just know that they are happy enough with the results. And they maybe don't realize, one, what a better detergent could be doing. Two, the potential damage they're doing to their machines, which Melissa really gets into in a lot of her videos. And three, why we do the things we do with laundry, with dishes, with stain removing, why a surfactant is important. And so I just that's one of the things I really appreciate is that she explains a lot of why things work and why they don't work.
So here was, I don't know if you want to finish this video. I'm happy to do either, or if you just want to give people a taste of it. But here was my initial reaction to this was, oh, this is really cool. I was on board with it. And then I was thinking about it, though, and I'm everything that she's saying with authority, I believe. Why wouldn't I? It's oh, okay, look at her. She's sort of dunking on this she's not saying this. She's not calling names. But let's just say she's sort of dunking on this idiot on the internet who's like telling her followers her science, and then this other person comes along and says, you're an idiot. Like, none of this stuff that you're doing makes sense. And I'm like, yeah, you're an idiot. I'm with this lady. And then I'm just like, wait a second. I don't know shit about any of this. I'm just believing the person with the most authority on this.
Yes.
Now, this is how I live my life. This is how I end up in relationships with people like Genevieve and Luke Burbank.
Yes.
They just, and you. Somebody says something with authority, and I'm like, yeah, of course. That's got to be it. So it is, and I'm not saying that she's wrong. I'm sure that, and first of all, I do know, seriously, that you do know more about this than I do. But I did have to check myself for a moment where I'm kind of like, oh, I'm just siding with the person who's saying it more strongly. Sort of.
I mean, yes, 100%. And I think this is the issue with any and all influencing. And I have a lot of very strong feelings about influencers and influencing. I think, I mean, one of the reasons I immediately trusted Melissa Pateras is because she is quite visibly a lesbian, and she is extremely tatted. Yes.
Yeah, isn't that, so that's why you believe that she knows the science?
Yes. Listen, I am not a person who is influenced by influencers. I don't follow influencers. I don't know the difference between Alex Earl and Alex Cooper. I don't know who these people are. And I am on TikTok a lot, and I am in marketing as a profession. I do not follow influencers. However, were I to follow an influencer or be influenced, it would be by a heavily tatted lesbian, because in my personal experience, those are the most trustworthy people. And that's been a fact since many, many years back in my life. But
oh, the laundry lesbian. I was looking
Yes.
for it. I knew that she had called herself something somewhere. The laundry lesbian is how she identifies on Instagram.
Yes, correct. But the other thing that I like is a lot of what her content is around is about how people, when they think they're making this like really economical giant container of quote unquote detergent, that like they're doing it to save money. And she's very rarely selling something. She's usually like, what you're actually doing is you're diluting some of the good stuff and you're adding in a bunch of shit you don't need. Like, this is not good for your clothes, this is not good for you, and it's not good for your budget. And so I think that was the other thing that I found very trustworthy is like most of the time the information she's giving is just like, I don't care what kind you use, but just like use something that works. The other big piece of advice that she gives, and I think it comes up in this video, is people use way too much fucking laundry soap and dish soap, and people use too much of the products. And that like, yeah, and because people just think it is better, it feels like it makes it cleaner, it feels like
smells stronger.
Yes. And so she is a big proponent though of like, use really functional laundry detergent that doesn't do the smell stuff. And if you want the smell, just use scent boosters like that like, and she'll say like, I don't use fabric softener because fabric softener coats the fibers, and that's how you get like musty towels. It does like trap dirt and oil. It doesn't get things like really all the way clean. But that like the laundry booster, like scent boosters, like that's all they do is deposit fragrance. And if that's what you want, add that in separately.
Is that in the washing cycle or the drying cycle that you add a scent booster?
I think you add it in the washing cycle.
Interesting.
I don't know. I never use them, but I think you add like laundry beads. I think you add in the washing cycle.
Oh,
and
okay.
then,
Those are those beads. They're almost
yes.
like
yeah,
the
the beads.
Okay, yeah.
And all those do is do fragrance. And so if you have, a really industrial, functional laundry detergent that cleans your clothes and rinses out completely and is made for a high efficiency washer, and then you want the fragrance added back, like, then just add, do a fragrance thing. Don't look for something that does everything.
Do you wish you could see the dirty water draining after a wash cycle? Like, do you wish we had clear tubes and we could watch it? I've never had this thought before, but I'm just thinking, boy, it would be interesting to see, like, when you do a really big load of really dirty laundry and then you see, like, oh, progress. Look at all that dirty water being flushed away.
I mean, it's like using the little green, right? Or the hot water extractor. Like,
Yes,
I hot water
yes.
extracted our carpet
Exactly.
like a couple weeks ago, and I had that feeling where I was just like, "Ah, yes, look at all
Yes.
this grime." I think I would like to see that in a
Yeah.
washing machine. Like, if they had, Yeah, some sort of like a glass pane maybe,
Yeah.
and you could watch it go. I think I would find that
Yeah,
very satisfying.
That'd be very satisfying. Maybe a secret door, because you don't want it exposed all the time. Like, your guests are going to think you're absolutely nuts or whatever. But
yeah, a secret door.
you're home alone. You got yourself a glass of wine. You light a candle. You do a load of laundry, and you open up a little secret door in the wall next to your washing machine, and you'll watch that thing flush out the dirty water. I'm into it. This is $1 million idea. All right, I'm going to go back to this video, okay?
Yeah.
Are the primary ingredient that lifts oil, dirt, and stains from the fibers and suspends them in the water so that they can be rinsed away.
Next up, I'm going to be using 4 cups of washing soda. Washing soda is a heavy-duty cleaner that is a natural degreaser, so it's really going to help if you get a lot of like sweat stains in your clothes.
Washing soda definitely has its place, but it's not really a degreaser on its own. It's more of a helper than a standalone, but it also makes the baking soda a little redundant in this case, but okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to use 2/3 cup of sea salt. Salt is going to help with the hard water as well, so help boost the effectiveness of the detergent when there's hard water involved.
Sea salt adds sodium chloride, which doesn't help with hardness either, but again, you still don't have detergent.
And it's also going to help break down soap residue.
What soap residue? You don't have soap, so there wouldn't be any soap residue.
I'm going to mix in 30 drops of essential oils. I am going to use lavender and lemon. They are both antibacterial and they smell really good.
30 drops of essential oil in a batch of this diluted further in a wash cycle is nowhere near the concentration needed for any meaningful antibacterial effect. I feel like this was more the vibes part of the recipe.
Make sure you like this post, share it with someone else who might like it.
Please don't share it. Really, please.
There you have it. A non-toxic DIY laundry detergent that took me less than 10 minutes to make.
You can make the most non-toxic laundry powder on the planet, and you can put it in a jar made of good intentions and sprinkle it with organic fairy dust. But if it has no surfactant, your clothes are basically getting an expensive alkaline rinse and coming out smelling like lavender and lemon essential oils while still having yesterday's sweat and dinner on them. So please don't share this. Okay, bye.
Can I mention one other thing that off of something that you said, Hannah? You mentioned that people like to do this because they think it's a way to maybe save money or be more economical, generally speaking. And I question that too. This is a question, though, I'm posing it to you, so give me your honest answer. I don't think people would be doing this if TikTok didn't exist. I think people are doing this because they want to make videos. Like, do you think this woman would be making this in her home pre-social media?
I think some people would be doing it anyway. I think more people do it because one person does it to make a video, and then other people see it and they're like, oh, I could try that. And then they do it. And then whether they make a video about it or not, who knows? I do think that the sort of idea of, this is getting really deep, the idea of democratization about who can become a known quantity on the internet has changed behavioral patterns in a really remarkable way. So the fact that most people believe that they can just open up their camera and make a video of them doing something very normal, and that is something that could, benefit them either financially or socially, has really changed behavior. She says on a fucking podcast about cleaning, right? I understand.
Yeah, right.
I understand. And again, this is also my day job is I manage social media accounts. Like, that is my job. So I do have a lot of feelings about, sort of how people decide what to publish about themselves. However, I do also think that laundry detergent is expensive. We've talked about it. Like, it is expensive.
It's behind lock and key at the grocery store.
Yeah. It is. It feels
I guess
like
it's not behind key. I'm sorry. I just want to clean that up a little bit. It's behind locks.
Yes,
it's not really
right.
behind keys. My apologies.
I think the idea is that it's behind lock and key because the lock and key have to go together to let you in. So I think
So
you're
that
correct.
is an expression. I actually
Yeah.
had the expression right. Oh, okay.
I think
Sounds
so.
good. I was just correcting myself because I thought I sounded like a fool.
No, behind lock and key because you need both the lock and the key to.
Oh,
yes.
okay. All right.
I
Cool.
think
I'll
you're right.
Stand by it.
Yeah, I'll allow it.
I don't have. Honestly, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I was sort of thinking about it too. Like you said, you're like, how ironic that I'm saying this on a podcast. But I mean, I do think there is a tone difference, right? There are different types of things people are putting out in the world as far as let's just say content. I hate that word, but you know what I mean? Whether it's a podcast, a video, or whatever it is, like there are people who are like both of these women who are like kind of telling you something and informing you. Whereas I really do think that we on this show have set it up to be a little bit more like, this is our journey. This is what we do. It's very rare that we're coming down and like, this is the way it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There are some things that we've learned and we pass that along. But honestly, maybe I just sound offensive now, but like a show like this is more about like, hey, listeners, what's going on in your life? Tell us your stories. Tell us your advice. Tell us your questions. But I don't know. I don't think that we set ourselves up to be like kind of experts.
I think people imbue expertise whether we do it or not.
Huh, yeah.
Like people in my life will ask me questions about cleaning all the time. And a lot of times I'll be like, oh, maybe.
They don't ask me. They're like, hey, can you give me Hannah's contact
Can you text
information?
Hannah and ask her? People ask me about this all the time. And a lot of times, like, I don't have an answer, or the answer I have is like, I don't know, or I'm like, oh, I learned this from a listener and it really did work, right? There's still things.
Yeah.
And one of the pieces of advice that I saw in one of Melissa's videos was the same thing that I learned from a plumber who came to my house, which is the same thing we've heard from several other people, which is that before you start your dishwasher, run the hot water so that the whole cycle has hot water so that you're not waiting, like, so that it is more efficient. And like, that's a thing I do still. And it is absolutely an effective way to get your dishes cleaner and to like make your dishwasher work better. And so these are things that like we've learned either from listeners or from things we've, seen and experienced. And I think also one of the reasons that I like her style of video, she seems like a real spiritual successor to Don Aslett. Our patron saint.
Too. Yeah, I couldn't remember his name, but yeah.
Yes, like where we've always had these folks who sort of have the information, and the way they get it is either they're self-appointed or they've gone to some sort of schooling or they just wrote a book and then that makes them experts. Like that's sort of part of a long tradition. But I think there is a lot to things like laundry. I mean, it's like not to go all macro, but it's like, people doing their own research on vaccinations. And it's like, what research? Are you in the lab? Like, like, what is that? You're reading stuff on the internet, right? And whereas with like laundry is a scientific process, right? You need a surfactant, which does something like lowers the surface temp or the surface tension of oils, and that's how it breaks it down and pulls it away and washes it out, right? Like that's how those things work, and that is a chemical reaction. We are seeing in real time in the United States Capitol what happens when chemical reactions are not anticipated, and then an industrial coating on a body of water just chunks away in pieces because the cleaning product that was used was not correct for that chemical compound.
Would you say you've been doing some reflecting on that?
I've been doing a bit of reflecting. I will say I was green with envy of the people who could actually be there peeling up but like, that's because that's science, right? And like, if you are not an actual chemist, and like, I'll be the first to say, I absolutely would have failed chemistry and specifically stoichiometry, like the balancing of equations, were it not for the nerd who sat in front of me who was really good at it. And whose answers I could see. Who helped
you, or whose answers you could see?
No, whose answers I could see.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah. Shout out to that kid named Alex, who had a rat tail, and is the reason I passed chemistry. So, like, I'm not a chemist.
It's a good thing he didn't have, like, a mullet. Is it a he? Didn't have a mullet because that could have blocked your view. A rat tail is nice and skinny. You can see over his shoulder better.
It was like a tactical rat tail. It was really incredible.
That rat tail saved your life.
It certainly saved my GPA. But like, so I think that's the other part of it is like when somebody seems to know what they're talking about, but then you go and you look at the actual science of it and you're like, oh, yeah, that's right. Like, and stuff like adding minerals to hard water is not going to make the water less hard. That's literally what hard water is. It's water with minerals.
That's what I expected Melissa to say there, and that just maybe underscores my misunderstanding of it. But it's like, no, you're making the water. It sounded like she was making the water harder, but I
mean,
guess
yes.
I don't know necessarily the definition of hard water. I guess
It's just water that has like mineral deposits, which can make the water less able to do what water does, which is rinse things away. And so, like she said, if you're adding back magnesium, like that's not going to do what you need it to do. So to your question though about like the affordability, I mean, I do think there's a huge number of people, mostly people who are socialized female, in especially the United States right now, who are looking around to try and find ways to either simplify or, like reduce costs in their life. And if the stuff you already have in your house, like baking soda and Epsom salts, if someone tells you that can also do your laundry and you don't have to go buy, a $30 laundry detergent.
Yeah.
Like that, then that might sound
right.
really great, right? And it's and I can just use the essential oils I already have around my house because those feel safe to me. Now, are these the same people who refuse to get vaccines but still get GLP-1 shots? 100%. Humans contain multitudes and make no fucking sense. But I do think that there is a huge demand. And like we talk on this show all the time about ways that we reduce our plastic and things that we try and do that are more reusable. And like, I think there's a lot of ways that people are trying to, for better or worse, like either cut back on expenses or reduce their footprint generally. And I think making your own laundry soap that's like non-toxic is an easy kind of target for a lot of people. But then they get out over their skis as far as like why there is such a thing as laundry soap and that it's not just something that was made to like gouge you.
And I would say there is another leg to the stool, possibly a lesser leg, but I do stand by this. I think mixing things is fun.
1,000,000%. I think mixing things is fun, and I think feeling like you are getting away with something, like where like other people spend this much money on their laundry detergent and like me, I get to like play. I mean, it's basically like an adult sensory, sandbox kind of thing when you see these people. And there's so many of these videos of people just like dumping household shit into a tote and calling it laundry detergent. And like, again, if they think it works, I guess that's cool. But, my irritation is always then when they come on the internet and say why it works when, in fact, that's not how it works.
All right, let's move on. We have one more topic we wanted to get to today, and I think we've left enough time for this. We just have to, like, kind of, I think, hunt and peck through this bullet-pointed list, which is really wonderful. This comes from listener Emily in Atlanta, who identifies as listener number 28. I appreciate that. Listener number 28 is Emily in Atlanta, who says, "Whew, did I ever have thoughts about your packing episode?" Emily is referring to a conversation that we had. We're talking, and in fact, I think it even went back to what was the American Girl magazine page that you saw on social media. That was from a issue that you actually remember that tells you like how to properly pack for a trip, right?
I
and
still use that guide.
Yes, still use, and like we were just kind of talking about general things like how you have a special little bag that you keep all of your phone chargers and related stuff in that kind of like lives in your suitcase, and that is your travel bag, like little shortcuts and hacks like that from your life. And Emily says, "Fabulous job on that. Everything you shared was brilliant." I think that's directed towards you. "I made a recording for you. It was my attempt to convey 2 pages of stream of consciousness notes into something palatable, and it ended up being over 9 minutes long. Oops." So I tried to write it down for you in a more civilized fashion. And also, I really appreciate that. I will sometimes, less on this show, but some other shows, like I think I have like a Google Voice line set up for all the podcasts I do. And sometimes people will call in, and Google Voice has a 3-minute limit. And there have been times where I've gotten like somebody, I got cut off, and they continue their story, and they will leave 4 voicemails. So I'm like, you left me a 12-minute voicemail. That's a quarter of an episode. Like, what am I going to do with that? So anyway, I appreciate Emily kind of revisiting this and said, "I tried to write it all down for you in a more civilized fashion. I hope some are useful. My work friends and I travel a ton internationally, and we've all been on 18-hour flights and 24-plus hour travel days. We have thoughts." I had a 24-hour plus travel day one time coming back from Croatia. We were out on an island in the middle of the ocean, and kind of right between Croatia and Italy. And so our travel day started by getting on a ferry early in the morning.
Oof.
That would take us back to the mainland. That would take us to our first flight, to the next flight, to the next flight. I mean, I think we did almost every mode of transportation possible that day. Yeah, because I think we probably ended up taking the light rail home. So we probably had
planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yes, ferry, flight. It was everything. So anyway, I'm just going to start at the beginning with Emily's bullet points, but there are many, many bullet points, and they are categorized under, let's see here, I think maybe chronologically, packing, and then packing, limiting your anxiety, packing, planning for success, staying comfy on the plane, and then things to do once you're arriving at your destination. And so the first bullet point is, if you're traveling within the continental U.S. or Canada, unless you're doing some very niche activities or in a super rural area, you're traveling on easy mode. You have Amazon, Walmart, CVS, Goodwill. These all exist. You can replace almost anything. It will be annoying, but it's doable. I kind of like that because that is something that gets in my head a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of trips I do are work trips. Like I have a really big one coming up for our fundraiser for TBTL. And that means I need to do a lot of thinking ahead about like audio equipment, live streaming, cameras, lighting, and how am I getting all of this stuff to another part of the country. Now, that's like kind of an intense one, but like it's nice to know, hey, I'm going to Ohio.
Yeah.
Like there are stores there. If I forget something, it will be a problem and potentially, maybe push our schedule back a little bit. But like Luke and I, the most anxiety causing trip I ever went on was when Luke and I were planning on hitchhiking through a couple of states for our podcast. And therefore that was like, well, if we forget something, we're kind of screwed because we don't have our own transportation or whatever. And actually having that experience put me more in this mindset that Emily mentions here. Like, you're not hitchhiking and you're not being dropped in the jungle somewhere.
I will also say, I mean, so we're already talking about traveling, which means we're already talking about, to some degree, some sort of financial privilege. But I will also say that there have been periods in my life where I was, going to visit my parents when I was at college, and I was, already on a negative bank account, and that was not the case. Where like even if I forgot something, I couldn't afford to replace it. So there is something to that about like either when you are traveling, if at all possible, make sure you're setting aside an additional like budgetary line item for replacing things, like having that be part of your, if you're planning a vacation or if you're planning travel and you are trying to figure out like the cost of it all, like making sure that that's also like built in, because that is not always. I remember sort of the first time I was traveling somewhere and I forgot a charger, and I was able to just nip into, I think at that point, a Target and buy one, and thinking, oh, thank God I had the ability to even buy a new charger. So so that is, I mean, that there's that element, but
Yeah, and the charger things, I'll get in my head about that. Like, well, what if I bring enough? Did I bring enough? Did I bring the long one? Oh, no, is this a USB-C or USB mini for the Bluetooth? And it's like, dude, and get anxious about, did I bring the right cords? Did I bring all the cords? Is it USB-C? Is it USB micro for the Bluetooth speaker or whatever? And then I'm like, dude, you're in the United States of America. Like, literally any gas station you go into has a little stand with charging cables next to the horny goat weed. Like, you're fine. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that big of a deal. And Emily goes on to say, like, kind of similar things. Europe is also doable, but just I like this little piece of advice. When you are in a different country or something, figure out which day counts as Sunday in that culture when everything is closed, and just sort of work around that. I think that's a really good piece of advice. And then says, when it does come to the special items in your life that might be difficult to obtain on the road, like, just think about what your, let's call them, special needs are, whether it refers to your health or your body type or meds that you take or whatever, shoe sizes or whatever. Like, just focus on those things and be very diligent about that, and you're going to be fine. And then the next segment is not about anxiety. It's just planning for success. And Emily says, bullet point 1, I love to use little baggies and packing cubes in my personal items.
Yeah.
They are all colorful. So what is a packing cube? I think you've explained this to me before, but I've forgotten.
It's literally like a little square, like a nylon. It's a little container that is usually like, it folds down flat because it's like a material. If you can Google it. Real
I'm
quick.
looking
Yeah.
at it. Just Google it. Oh yeah, I'm looking at it. Yeah, I like these. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
and you can throw them in the bag.
It's like a little square. It's almost like a cosmetics bag sort of deal. And the idea is that it creates sections or drawers in your luggage. They are really handy. Again, and these are things that you can like I save any the container, the bag I use, the little bag I use that has all my cables and chargers that I take to work with me is like an old drawstring bag that came from something else. Something else came in it.
Yes.
And so like I don't have. I mean, obviously there's a dream version of myself where I have really beautiful matchy packing cubes that are all uniform in size and color, or that's the kind of thing that Keith would definitely want.
Yes.
But instead, the version of me that exists is the one that saves every little drawstring bag that something came in at some point, and then that's what I use.
I just came across one. We have a whole storage area that is like way too many bags, basically. Like we have a couple of rolly bags, as I call them, one for me, one for Vives, and then I think we each have an old version that we keep on hand just in case of emergency that I sometimes use for like audio equipment or something. But then like a bunch of like, I don't know, handheld, like kind of nicer duffel bag kinds of things. But they're all nesting, one inside the other. And I opened one up the other day, and inside of it was like this nice cloth drawstring bag that I think Fancy Shoes came in.
Yep.
I think the Fancy Shoes were in a box, or maybe
and then like a
inside
dust
the box.
bag.
And it was a nice bag. And like years and years and years ago, I put that in there. I'm like, well, I can't throw this away. I've never used it. I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even know it existed if I didn't run into it every few years. But I can't bring myself to throw it away.
Well, I saw a woman on TikTok who calls that fancy garbage. Which is just stuff that you hold on to because you might need it and you're not sure, but then you don't actually ever use it. Yeah, she calls it fancy garbage. And so she's like a declutter person, and so she'll always say like, throw away one piece of fancy garbage today. But I think, those kind of drawstring bags, like that's what you use. You can use those for like packing cubes, basically, right? Where like that's the thing that you put all of your cables in, or that's the thing that your toiletries go in, or that's like whatever you have to bring, right? And especially like you've said, when you pack, you have to bring a lot of technology things, and so you have to make sure you have all the right cables. And so, I think there's a tote in our storage room that Keith, again, this is pure Keith Caswell stuff. He used a bunch of old dust bags from shoes and the like, and wound up all the different types of cables. And so there's a bag with like one of those dust bags, and it's written on it in very floor, like, handwriting, like aux cables. And then that one dust bag that used to have shoes in it or whatever is just the aux cables. And so when you open the tote that says cables, you open that tote, and inside is aux cables, USB, USB-C. And like, again, that's very how Keith works. But you can do it when packing too, and it does make your life easier.
So we're running a little bit short on time here, and this is a massive bullet-pointed list. So I was going to say, would you be able to post this somewhere?
I absolutely will put it on the website, and if I remember it, I will figure out how to screenshot it and put it on Instagram, because it is full of good tips.
I'm going to try to bullet point just a few more of these. I'm just picking around, but I also don't want to dominate this. Hannah, if you have it in front of you and there's any that you want to highlight, let me know. I'll buy you a little bit of time here. Here's one that I like. I like to travel with 1, a laundry bag, and 2, a little foldable cloth grocery bag, which I use after security, like after TSA, to carry snacks and stuff that I buy at the airport. It works great and is an emergency personal item if something breaks. Oh, that's interesting too. I do like the idea of having packing an empty bag. I was at the Mariners game yesterday, and I saw somebody get through security. So, okay, let me set this up quickly. So there's essentially a no bags policy at the field, right? Unless it's like a small bag and you can see through it.
Yeah, it's a clear bag.
Yeah. And I always thought that meant that way you can't bring contraband in. But one time I was with a couple of friends, and we were going to a daytime ball game, and we had all taken transportation, public transpo. We didn't have cars or any place to store something. And my friend had a tote bag that was actually a tote bag from some sort of Seattle club that's no longer around. It might have been Rebar or something along the lines of that, something he couldn't get again. And I told him, you can bring that bag in as long as it's empty. Just carry it. And it turns out we were wrong about that. They don't let you bring empty bags into the stadium. They confiscated his irreplaceable tote bag. I was furious. I started kind of stomping around and stalking the guy that took his bag away, trying to figure out how we could get it back. I was so mad on Hauser's behalf, but he's a very chill man and was c'est la vie about it. But I did see somebody yesterday go through security. I was already through, and I was kind of wandering around by myself, and I saw somebody go through security, and then they cleverly pulled a very thin tote bag out of their back pocket.
Yep.
So they were able to sneak a bag through security that didn't have anything in it. They're not trying to do anything illegal. That's why the rule is so absolutely stupid. They didn't have a bunch of booze in there or something. It was an empty bag, but bags are handy. So if you can get yourself a nice thin kind of shopping bag kind of thing that you can slip into your luggage, or in this case, if you're going to the ball game, into your back pocket, it's not going to set off any alarms. And then once you're there, whip that thing out because bags are handy.
They make those ones that pack real small and have a snap to close them. Because I know Keith has a couple of his grocery shopping bags he'll take are on a keychain, and it balls up into a little bag within a bag. These were very popular. I remember you could get them at Daiso, and they were tote bags that packed all the way down into a little pouch. Now the security guy might have something to say about it, although usually if something's on your keys, they'll kind of just let it through because they're just it's keys, whatever. I'm surprised your friend's bag got taken. Yeah, because I would have said just fold it up and put it in a pocket or something, and if it doesn't have metal on it, it's not going to. Nobody cares.
I don't think we were trying to be sneaky about it because we thought the rule was you can't bring stuff in bags. But we thought
I
bringing
also
an empty
wouldn't
bag was
be
fine.
surprised if that's not. I think a lot of times security folks don't necessarily. They're not all on the same page. We listener Paige and listener Melissa and I went to a concert together in Seattle a couple years ago, and there was a clear bag policy, and then the other policies you could have a hip bag like a fanny pack or whatever, but it had to be smaller than X dimensions, and they have a little printout, and they will set your bag on it, and if it's even a fraction of a millimeter too wide, they'll be no, you can't, you have to check it in a locker or whatever. And I had a bag, and my bag made it through, and Melissa's was just barely too big, but it was at Key Arena, Climate Pledge, whatever.
Was this the Postal Service?
It was Death Cab.
Death Cab.
Yes. Yeah. And Melissa had just been to a Kraken game that had the same policy with the same security at the same venue, and that bag had made it through the week before. But this particular security guy was no, it's too big. And so we all went outside, unpacked everything in it, packed it all into our littler bags that had already gotten the green light, and then folded up her little bag and stuck it in a pocket.
Yes.
And then we all went through, and nobody had to lose anything. But
this is what the bullshit was about the Mariner situation. Was you don't go through security until you've already beeped your ticket.
Yes.
So that's where they really screw you.
Yes.
Because Hauser's this is an irreplaceable bag, or at least I was very worked up about this. And I'm well, can we leave and go store this somewhere outside the stadium and come back? And they're no, there's no re-entry. You're well, MFers, then do security before you scan my ticket. There was literally no solution other than them confiscating a totally harmless, irreplaceable tote bag.
When, again, if you had been sneaky just for sneakiness' sake, you would have gotten through with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
If he just folded it up and put it, because if it's not metal, you could just go and and especially you're men, you have actual pockets, right?
Yeah.
Women don't always have that option, but men do, right? This is why I'm just sneaky all the time, and why I just assume the worst thing is going to happen, and so I'm going to bend or break any rule I can, because also I have oppositional defiance disorder. But so the point is, though, yes, having a small bag with you at all times is very helpful. This is the same reason that I tell people, even if you don't have a dog, bring a roll of dog poop bags with you on vacation. It takes up next to no space. It's a really good way to pack trash in and out. If I were going on a hike, I would bring a roll of dog poop bags, because you can hold wet things in it. It can keep things away, and it's just a small roll of garbage bags, and sometimes you just need that. So I that's a really good tip. I will put this on our website, and I'll try and put it on Instagram too, because some of these tips are so good.
They're really good, and I'm sorry to give it a little bit of short shrift here, but we are on a little bit of a deadline. I think I've asked you this every single time, right? Every time dog poop bags come up. Did you watch the TV show Succession? Have we already done this?
They don't come pre-pooped.
Exactly. Using those, because when we got Lucy, other dog owners, dog knowers are like, oh, these bags are going to change your life. Now you have bags with you everywhere you go because we keep them on the leash, right? And I was like, yeah, but you can't put leftover food in them because there's something about putting food in a bag that is intended for poop.
But they don't come pre-pooped.
But they don't come pre-pooped. All right, we got to get out of here, but I would also like to remind the scrub jockeys that we are looking for your input on another topic that is dog related. Speaking of dog poop bags, what is in your dog go bag? So, Genevieve and I are new to dog ownership, and do we say ownership? Seems so weird. Dog roommate-ship.
Like I say, living with dogs. Yeah, I call her my roommate all the time.
Dog friendship. Anyway, and so we realized, if we're going somewhere for kind of an extended trip or to the park or something like that, we should have a little tote bag, speaking of tote bags, that has essentials in there, right? Like a water bowl and, collapsible water bowl and stuff like that. And we kind of keep adding to it. We're like, we need some pet wipes in there. And, you know what? Probably a towel would be good, a hand towel. So we would like to know what is in your pet to-go bag if you have something like that. Also, quick update on that. I'm realizing my car is just becoming the go bag. I used to take the go bag in the car, but now I've essentially got almost all of those items in the little slot in the driver's seat. I got some treats in there. I got some bags in there. I got some wipes in there.
Yep. Welcome to the world of having a purse on wheels because now you have a dog, and it's just easier to have those things. I gave one of my collapsible water dishes that I had in my car that I just kept to an unhoused person who had a pet, and I was like, "Oh, here's water." Nice, I gave some water, and I was like, "Just keep the dish, whatever, I don't care." But then I didn't have it. I didn't have a collapsible water dish for weeks, and it was, of course, always the times when I needed one, and so I finally I don't know. I broke down and bought several, and I just have them around. And it's that thing that I think probably parents do too, where you just end up having the things you need everywhere all the time.
Yeah. And it's nice to have extras, too, for that exact reason. You see somebody who might need it. We were we got these little pouches that you can keep treats in that go on the leash. And we got, we only needed one, but Genevieve bought a package of 3 because that's all they had. And so it was really nice when we were at, dog class at puppy kindergarten or whatever. Somebody was, fumbling around with their treats. I'm like, dude, we have a bunch of these things. Just take one. It's, kind of nice to be there. So anyway, tell us your stories. Tell us what's in your go bag. Reach out to us about almost anything. Hannah's mom, you mad at us? It's been quiet. It's been quiet for a while.
I think it's because I keep accidentally not having time on Mondays to put things on YouTube, and so then I don't get to put it on YouTube until Tuesday, and I feel like it's really crimping her. It's crimping her style and her schedule. Yeah.
We love you, Julie. I just want to make sure she's not mad at me, if she feels like I'm not playing her voicemails enough or anything like that. So don't be mad at me.
Well, my dad...
That's the worst thing you can do to me is be mad at me.
My dad was a logger, and so he very well might have some insight on how to get your chainsaw clean.
Oh my goodness gracious. Yes, call in with advice.
Dan really actually might have some...
pole saw. I love it. Oh, that reminds me. That little baby's still in the box in the garage.
Waiting for you.
I got to go say hello. All right, everybody. Have a great couple of weeks. We will talk to you soon.
You've been listening to the Spotless Podcast. If you have a question for Hannah and Andrew or some cleaning advice, call the Spotline at 508-HOW-WASH. That's 508-469-9274. You can also email them at spotlesspod@gmail.com. We'll be back soon. But until then, always remember, life is messy, but it doesn't have to be. You